you're familiar with the lizard people conspiracy.
Mm-hmm.
So who do you think is lizard alien?
Bill Gates.
Yeah.
That's a common one, I think.
Yeah.
If we were to add new people, Pedro Pascal. Too charming, too lovable. Nicolas Cage.
I mean,
he's not hiding it, and that's how he hides it. You know what I mean?
I was thinking like John Malkovich. He's just weird.
That's fair.
David Lynch, maybe? Oh.
It's hard having a podcast with yourself.
Hi, welcome to Never Show the Monster. I'm Kelly Attaway.
I'm Chelsea Hollander.
And today we are continuing our theme on possession by aliens with... Wait, did I say we're continuing our thing?
Yeah, I think you did.
Okay. Well, that's good because we're covering John Carpenter's The Thing from 1982. Spooky. It's a spooky one.
Yeah, super spooky, super fun.
Loved it.
Yeah.
Loved it. Before we get too far into it, I need to tell you about something that I just learned today.
Yay.
That I'm furious over.
Oh.
So, Estes Park. You remember Estes Park? We went to the Stanley. I almost said the Overlook. We went to the Stanley there. We watched Suspiria with Goblin live. It was great.
It was awesome.
There is an annual Bigfoot festival in Estes Park, and it just happened 2 weeks ago.
Oh, no.
So now I have to wait a whole gosh dang year before I can go see it. I'm so mad.
Should I come next year? Should I go to the Bigfoot festival? Okay, I'm in. I'm in.
I also have a Skinwalker Ranch update.
I'm excited.
Not about the ranch itself, but about that horrible TV show.
The wonderful show. Yeah, I'm excited.
Secret of Skinwalker. I don't know. One, I have a new favorite. You'll remember we discussed Dragon, the security guy, and how maybe he was our favorite up top.
Not favorite anymore?
Not favorite anymore. I still think he's great.
Okay.
He's stopped carrying that stupid gun around, so...
Good for him.
Thank goodness. Like, what are you trying to do?
It's not going to do anything.
It's just not going to do anything. In fact, one of the stories on Skinwalker Ranch is that giant wolf Skinwalker showed up, and they shot it point blank like 6 times in the head, and it did not die. So, like... Stop carrying that around.
100% thought you were going to say grab the gun and shot
the
other person. I was like, that's why I don't carry a gun, in case there are giant werewolves.
Yeah, I can be disarmed way too easily.
Yeah.
No, my new favorite is the guy whose head swelled up. He's just so endearing, and I'm pretty sure the whole lot of them got media training between seasons 2 and 3. That's
probably good. They were like, this is getting a little...
Yeah.
We gotta tighten it up, guys.
We gotta tighten it up. Yeah. And they've done a great job. Mr. Headswell is like... almost eloquent.
Is that his name?
Now.
Is his name Mr. Headswell?
His name? It's Tom, I think.
Oh, okay. That's a cute name.
Sometimes they'll do an experiment and they'll be like, these are like crazy new methods. This is phenomenal. This is phenomenal. But then the experiment is just normal. So,
okay.
So there's one in particular that made me go, wait a minute.
I've seen this before.
They were trying to find caves. Legend is that there are caves on the ranch, and they've been trying to find it. And so they found like what looks to be the mouth of a cave. And so they were lighting like smoke flare type things and throwing it into the cave.
Seeing if smoke came out?
Seeing where it came out. Yeah. And so they would throw it down there, and the smoke would sort of plume out of the cave for like right at the start where they had lit it.
Yep.
And then the smoke would move into the cave. And they were like, whoa, this is mind-blowing. This is crazy. And I'm like, that's just hot air v cold air. This is just how it works. This is just how air moves. So,
I mean, I appreciate the smoke hype, man. You gotta Hype up
Yeah,
the smoke.
that's true. Yeah.
Got to keep the viewers interested.
I guess so. But,
Yeah.
but it did take me out of it. I don't know. I was just like, either I am not understanding or they're not understanding. And I don't know. I feel like I'm being gaslit. Interestingly, gas would also move that way. Anyway, do you want to talk about the thing?
I was trying to think of like when you're trying to find a hole in a tire and you cover it in soap or inflatable mattress.
Oh, yeah.
Cover it in soap and see if the bubbles bubble up. I was like, I wonder if I could do that on a large scale. Could I just put soap all over a giant field?
Oh.
And then force air through the cave? Smoke sounds better. Smoke is better. Okay, good.
Smoke is better. Yeah.
Oh, thank God I'm not doing experiments.
But if I could get paid to just go investigate Skinwalker Ranch, hell, I'll go today.
Wait, are they going into the cave and spelunking and going through it? Or are they babies?
So it seems like, okay, sorry, you guys. This is
Just kidding. It's probably completely unsafe. No one's a baby.
Quick shooting the shit segment on this episode.
On Skinwalker.
So the where they were investigating, the mouth of the cave is on a section that looks like it was collapsed.
Oh, okay.
It looks like it was collapsed intentionally. And so that's suspicious. And it's unclear. I don't know. They were like, did like the Bigelow team do this when they were here? Or does this predate even that? And so it's too collapsed for humans to go in there. But they did hire a guy who has like, man, dude's rock. He's got this like digging machine.
Okay, I definitely thought you were just going to say he's very small.
No.
And couldn't like fit into the tiny crevices.
They found a goblin and they sent him in there. No, he's got this like horizontal boring tool.
Okay.
It was kind of cool. Like the length of the pipe is all like folded up on his truck and it like unfurls one link at a time as he makes his way through the mesa.
Okay.
And so he's tunneling, and this makes like a 6-inch hole.
Yeah,
and,
makes sense.
At some point he like hits something that he can't tunnel through anymore, and it forces his drill like down below it, and it's like hitting the top of it because it wants to go straight, but it can't because it's being forced down in like a parabola shape because it starts coming up on the other side. And so they're like, spaceship, that's a spaceship under the mesa. So I hope they dig it up. That's my hope.
Yeah.
What's in there? Show it to me.
So the thing came from a spaceship.
Sure did.
There we go. Segue.
You crushed it. You crushed it.
Woo!
Yeah, movie straight up opens with a spaceship zooming around through space. And that, I think, is the weakest shot in the film.
It might be. I watched this movie twice.
Oh, good.
The first time I watched it which is really good that we pushed this out like 15 times. Fun fact, guys. This is the most cursed recording we've ever done.
It was so cursed.
It was 7 or 8 times that we have attempted, and then it just kept going. I
guess knock on wood. Like,
yeah, this one might go bad too. But I had first watched it kind of like, you guys know, sometimes I have to watch movies while eating lunch and doing other things. This was a movie that I started doing that, and then I watched it and I was like, oh, I should not be half paying attention. This is a full attention movie.
Yeah.
And then I ended up watching it full attention a couple days later. But it was even half attention, super good, super interesting, aside from, that first shot I did not remember from the first time. And I was sitting down watching it for the first 30 minutes.
Was this the first time?
Yeah, it was the first time I've ever seen it.
You know, I was certain that I had seen it.
Had you not seen it before?
I don't think I'd seen it.
I've seen scenes from it before.
Which is why I think that I thought I had seen it.
Yeah, because the scenes are so striking.
Although some of the creatures, some of the things I hadn't seen.
Yeah.
And they are fucked up.
Yeah. Yep. And then after I watched it, I did like it so much that I watched the new one.
Oh.
That came out in 2011.
How was it?
I I liked it. And I really wanted to talk about this. Sorry, I completely forgot that there was a really important thing I needed to share with you about that movie. Do you know who is in it? And it made me really sad because it made me realize that a movie I really love is super problematic, because then I decided to watch that before we recorded. No. Got 15 minutes into it and they said the R word and I was like, I can't watch it anymore. Oh, no.
Okay, yes, I think I know what you're going to say. Let's see. So Ramona Flowers is in the new thing. Is that the problematic movie?
But that's not it.
Okay, I just assumed that they said
it's
the R
about
word
something
in
that's
that.
prohibitado. Or we talk about grandma wearing, you're not a grandma or a baby at a beach.
Oh.
Grandma at a beach, grandma gardening, or a baby at a beach.
Fired Up is problematic? What are you saying to me?
The first 10 minutes, I was like, oh, this is really bad. They are, a lot of it was really bad. But Eric Christian Olsen is in it, and I was just very excited to see him. And I love him so much and everything he does, even when he played Lloyd, I think, in one of the Dumb and Dumber sequels.
Oh my God, I forgot. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I just love him in everything. Honestly, he makes some bad choices sometimes, but I am so happy to see him every time I see him. He was in this movie. He did not. I'm going to say a spoiler about this movie.
The 2011 thing?
Yeah, the 2011. But if you guys don't want a spoiler, then fast forward like a minute, maybe. It's a prequel.
Oh, I think I knew that.
Yeah, and Eric Christian Olsen's character ends up being one of the two faces of the smushed, pulled apart face at the beginning. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, and I think that they did good with the monsters, except it was heavily CGI.
Yeah.
And the thing that made the thing so good was
those practical effects.
The lack of CGI and the perfect practical effects. What was the guy's name? Botten? What was his last name?
Yeah,
Or first name. That's his.
It looks like Botten, and I think that that's the correct pronunciation because it's two T's. But I heard it pronounced
differently?
Botine.
Botine. Is he from Louisiana?
Oh, is he?
If he was from Louisiana, I feel like it'd be Botine.
I don't know. He was giving me like Valley Girl, so I watched the behind the scenes.
Some people move around. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did they talk about him getting very sick?
Yes.
Aww.
Yeah. Okay. So production on this movie was so long. He worked on set 7 days a week, long hours, frequently sleeping on set for a year and 5 weeks or something.
Jeez.
And yeah, at the end, he was hospitalized for exhaustion and pneumonia.
That's so bad.
And he was 21.
He's so young.
He was so young.
But has there been any better monsters done?
Dude,
it was just done so well.
It was done so well. What else did he work on? He worked on
The Fog.
The Fog. That's where he met John Carpenter.
Mm-hmm.
And
he did go on to do a lot more.
He asked somebody to put him in touch with John Carpenter. He was like, introduce me. And then he got the job on The Fog. Yeah. So he was just like a go-getter. He did a bunch of stuff. He worked on Star Wars before this, I think. And he designed the RoboCop suit.
Oh,
the Howling werewolf movie.
Oh, yeah.
And I guess that came out a couple weeks before An American Werewolf in London, Paris. Where's the werewolf? Where's the American Werewolf?
London. Okay. Oh, doesn't he also go to Paris? He goes to both. He does
go to both. Yeah.
Which one did he go to first? Is that what you're asking? Because I have absolutely no idea.
Probably London, right? I don't remember. And the guy who did the werewolf for that movie, Botine had worked for. He had apprenticed for that guy. So I just think that that's cute that they both made werewolf movies at the same time. And practical ones.
Humanoids from the Deep. Okay. Uncredited. Oh, he's an actor in some things as well.
He is. So he did the special makeup effects for the Cantina band in Star Wars. Oh. And he was also the tallest member of the Cantina band.
Oh,
he
thank
was
God.
in it. He's 6'5".
He was supposed to be not Windows, the guy who's not Windows.
Oh, my favorite guy, the punk.
Yeah, him. He was supposed to be him.
Yeah.
And then they were like, that's too much. You already are working too much. This is too much.
You're working way too much. God, his monsters look so fucking cool. For those of you
who
haven't see, they're so gross.
It's so good. I know that we say never show the monster. I could not get enough of this. This is one where
monster.
I could not get enough.
Yeah. In the behind the scenes, they said that he was like really picky about the lighting because he was like embarrassed. He was like, that's too much light. That's too much light. They'll be able to see too much.
So good though.
It looks great. It looks great, Rob. Yeah, for those of you who haven't seen pictures of this, I bet that you have.
Yeah.
And you just don't know. They are so grotesque, but like so artful, so artfully done. And
so much.
So much.
It's everything.
And like it's everything. Like
it's everything.
The still monsters, but they're also like some of them are animatronic, and they got really creative with the gosh, who's the guy who has the heart attack and has to be paddled, and then his head creeps.
He's the guy that they wanted to be the leader, right? I don't remember his name.
There are so many. You know
We're
what?
We're going to have a hard time saying names in this one, I think.
I'm not even going to really try to do names.
Fair. Except for Mac and Windows.
Yeah, Mac and Windows. Yeah. Facts and figures. So, like I said, 1982. The tagline is bad. It's not a good tagline.
What was the tagline? I'm glad that you always come with the tagline.
Well, I got curious. It is, man is the warmest place to hide.
Ew. Oh, gross.
Ew. Don't say it like that.
I don't like that at all.
No, that's like
a horror movie in its own.
Yeah, yes.
No,
but like a different,
I'm going to have a worse nightmare from that than this entire movie.
No, I know. I'm sorry.
It's fine.
But if I had to read it, then all of you had to hear it. So the screenplay was written by Bill Lancaster, who has done essentially nothing else. He did like Bad News Bears.
No.
Yeah, just that and The Thing.
Good on him.
What a weird situation.
Well, did he stop because The Thing was a bomb?
Oh.
Did he feel like a failure after that and was like, well, I guess I'm not going to do this anymore?
I don't know.
What a bummer, because it is now a cult classic.
We'll have to talk about that too. So this was based on a book by John W. Campbell Jr. Or a novella, really. It's short. I read that. It's fine. There are some cool things in it. There are some cool things in it, but the movie's better.
They did make a movie in the 50s.
Yeah.
About it as well, right?
Yes, but apparently the movie in the 50s, which is called The Thing That Came to Earth,
yes,
I think, they like didn't do the chameleon part of the monster. It was just like a weird alien guy in a suit.
Cool.
I think John Carpenter described it as sort of a Frankenstein situation. So
I wish I'd watched clips of it. I did watch a trailer, but it didn't show the monster.
Oh, never show the monster.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, and especially
trying to coax me in.
If it's just a guy in a suit, I did see a picture of it, a still of it, which isn't fair. Maybe it looks better, but what I saw wasn't
exciting.
Great.
That's fair.
Yeah, and so I guess that wasn't a faithful adaptation at all.
And was this a faithful adaptation?
This is pretty faithful.
Oh, that's good. I had some like philosophical questions to ask.
They are not covered in the book.
Oh, fuck. Okay, I was hoping. Then we'll just pose them later and we'll discuss.
Yeah.
But when we talk about like man in a suit, so I know some things about John Carpenter in this movie about man in a suit.
Oh, the original?
No, but about his feelings about the monster.
Oh.
Did you hear about that on the behind the scenes?
I knew how he felt about, he definitely didn't want it to look like a person.
Yes.
And he definitely didn't want CG.
Yeah.
He insisted on practical effects. Is there more?
Yes, there is. This is the fun story that I have, and I'm really excited about it. Drew Struzan, the guy who made the poster for it, who also made the poster for Star Wars, but you've seen his posters. His posters are incredibly famous. I think he also did the Goonies. Please don't quote me on that. But he does those posters that you know and love. He is the man that makes can make or break a movie based on his poster. It looks like he made the new Dog Soldiers poster as opposed to the old Dog Soldiers poster. Sorry. Anyway, he So he made the poster for this movie, but no one told him what it was necessarily about. He only got like a couple lines of what it was about, and they asked him to make it really quick, so much so that the poster was still wet whenever it like left his studio.
Whoa.
But John Carpenter saw it and immediately was just like,
oh, he was
God
mad.
fucking damn it. And he was like, well, he probably didn't say that, but that's how I felt. But his main thing was he did not want to make a man in a suit. He didn't want a movie about a man in a suit. Like, that was his biggest thing. He didn't want the monster to be a man in a suit. Yeah. And that is what the poster is. Like, he was like, you could have just put a knife in his hand and it would have been any other slasher. But if you were Drew Struzan and no one gave you any context of the film, and you hear that the guy who did Halloween is now doing this movie in the Arctic, that's what he made. He made exactly what he was given. And I don't know if there's any beef about that, but he was very upset, and the studio was like, take it or leave it. You get a poster, or you don't get a poster. That's where we're at right now, because this movie went through some hell to get it done.
It truly did.
The poster is striking, and I knew the poster. It does not look like the movie. Like, what actually happens in the movie doesn't really depict it. Doesn't make any sense.
Do you want to describe the poster real quick?
Yeah, it's like it's in the Arctic, somebody in a large puffy coat, and there's just like a bright light coming from the face.
Yeah.
And that's about it.
That's pretty much it.
But it makes you feel like there's going to be like a one monster, one character type thing going on.
Yeah.
And that's what I thought it was going to be, even going into it, or like what I understood when I was younger. Not going into it because of all the clips I'd seen. But for a long time, I thought it was going to be just a man in a suit, or a man, just like one slasher going around killing people in the Arctic. And that's just what it is.
Yeah. I don't think that I had ever really looked at the poster until we were doing this. And I pulled it up and was like, oh, this has got to be like this has got to be a new one that like maybe this is from the remake, or
they made a very similar sense. They use like the same type of pose for the remake. So the remake does look very similar. The new movie does look very similar for the cover. But the fact that that was what was, and I saw it a lot because you know me, I was addicted to Blockbuster growing up.
Yeah.
I always saw that cover all the time. Never picked it up because of the fact that I thought it was going to be that.
Just a slasher. Oh.
Yeah.
Is this why it did so bad at the box office?
It might be, which is upsetting.
Let me finish going through actors and then...
Oh, yeah, sorry. I just kind of like jumped in there because I was so excited to talk about the poster.
I love a fun fact. You know I love a fun fact. So, special effects, like we have already talked about, Rob Bottin or Bottin. And the leads, this is like an ensemble cast, so there are a bunch of them. I'm going to mention the important ones. I guess they're all important. But we've got Kurt Russell as McCready, who is helicopter pilot on this research base and also the heartthrob. We've got Keith David as Childs, and he is the voice of animated Spawn.
Yeah, that's exactly what Ryan said when he was like, Spawn is in it? And I was like, okay.
Yeah. I did not know until I pulled up his IMDb. Then we've got Wilford Brimley as Dr. Blair. And then there are a bunch of other dudes, and not a single woman. Not one woman. No women. Unless the creature is a woman. Women can be monsters too.
Aw. Yeah. I was listening to a podcast. Hold on. I'm going to say what it is because I don't like referring to it without. But I did hear it because they were like, were there any women that were in the Arctic? And yeah, man, that shit's sexist. There were, but the amount of women that tried to get out there to do research was absurd, and the amount that were rejected to go out with only full man missions, it is
stupid.
Super upsetting.
So in the behind the scenes, Carpenter was saying that he thought it was more streamlined without women. And I quote, because they didn't have to deal with that problem. What?
What?
Fuck you. fuck you. And then somebody mentioned like, oh, and the problems we had with costumes because we all looked the same on camera. And I was like, yeah, maybe if you got a lady in there, we
It'd
could
break
tell
it up
the
a little
difference.
bit. Jeez. Like on one mission, they had over 200 women apply, and the guy just completely rejected
Good Lord.
all of them just because they were women. And the amount of times that kept happening was just ridiculous. I am not too much information. Is the name of the podcast. But they
sounds like it was just enough information.
It sounds like they don't do a lot of horror movies, and he convinced his co-host to watch The Thing.
Oh, I love that.
And they just had a lot of information about it, which was really fun to listen to. So
There is a lot to this movie.
so much. So many questions to be asked.
We talked a little about how this was sort of a nightmare to get made.
Mm-hmm.
How much do you remember about that?
They had a studio that they refrigerated down to 40 degrees, but that was really not smart. And like the cameras kept getting fogged up, and so the cameras had to remain in one room without going in. Like you couldn't go in and out of the room that stays warm.
Well, and even when they filmed a bunch on site in Canada, and they just had to leave them outside.
And then they also had like a horrible storm, so they couldn't really shoot for a while, and they were all trapped as is.
Oh my God.
It sounded like maybe it shouldn't have been made, but I'm so glad it was.
But even before that, there were like multiple scripts written for this by a bunch of different writers, and they kept like they'd offer it to a director and they'd decline, and it just like bounced around between screenwriters and directors, and eventually it was Carpenter and this Lancaster guy.
And it was like a bonkers budget, right? Like they had an absurd budget because Alien had just come out.
Oh, they did have kind of a big budget.
And the studios were like, please make us another Alien movie, or make us
I see.
We want money. We love that money. Money.
Money. Yeah.
And as you guys know, The Thing did not do well. So all that money just was not like, I was listening to like the amount of money they had to pay just for the clothing for the entire cast and crew whenever they did go to Canada. And they were like, it was like,
I bet
$40,000-$50,000, probably more, 100,000. I don't know. There was money. And if it's more than like 20,000, I'm like, that's a lot of money.
it was.
So it could have been like 200,000. I would have been like, that's a lot. My reaction would have weirdly been the same.
Here are the numbers that I do know. They ended up spending $15 million on the movie, and $1.5 million went to creature effects. 10% went to creature effects.
That's crazy.
Isn't that cool? I love that.
It feels like that movie had to have like, and it's because somebody was so passionate about doing it that I feel like it went. I know 10% went to it, but it feels like for that movie, 50% had to have gone to it because you can tell the care that he put into it.
Oh my God. Yeah. It looks incredible. And originally they had only given him $750,000. And then
he came back and was like, man.
Yeah, he was like, but look at my monsters. But look
and
at
they were
them.
like, ooh, those are some sexy ass monsters.
Yeah, they were like, damn.
You're like, I can make this one's face melt.
Yeah.
But you gotta give me another male. I'm sorry.
That is literally what happened, though. They were like, they sent him to like the art department. And there was a guy working in there who I guess is a name known in comic book circles. I don't know the name and I didn't write it down. I apologize.
That's fine. I wouldn't have known it.
Yeah, I don't know. But they sent Rob Bottin down there, and they were like, you have to storyboard all of your monster ideas because like
we gotta see it.
We need to see it. And like Rob can draw too. That's actually how he got hired on his first job at 14. He mailed off some of his like character drawings to another special effects makeup guy, and he hired him immediately at 14.
Oh my God.
So that's how he ended up doing The Thing at 21. So he can draw too, and he like really took to the idea of the monster as chameleon. And his idea was that this monster can present itself as more than just humans. Like it's been bouncing around the universe, so it can show itself as like all of these different things it's encountered. And so he drew up like a bunch of different aliens that it might have encountered out in space.
I love that.
I do too.
I mean, it took so many different forms, so that makes sense. Like
Yeah.
it never, sometimes a spider, sometimes a blob, sometimes a tongue.
Those like weird tongues, I was like, oh, Tremors took inspiration from this.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. That scene with the, I was going to ask.
Dog.
A lot of dogs died.
Yeah, that was a rough one.
How you feeling?
Right when I saw the dog, I was like, this is bad. This is going to be bad.
When they were shooting at the dog, and I even I know that dog is the thing, right?
Yeah, but you're like,
Spoilers.
but it looks like a dog. Leave it alone.
Yeah, I was just
That was
shouting,
really
like,
smart for the thing.
Stop shooting at him.
Man, that's a really good place to hide yourself in.
Yeah.
A dog.
Oh my God. So that dog is half wolf, which is why it's so fucking spooky.
Oh,
That scene
it
where
was
the
like
dog,
a little bit bigger than everybody.
it's a little bit bigger, and it's got it looks like a predator, right? Like it's not like, oh, that
But
dog
also
is
like a friendly predator.
I don't think it looks super friendly. I mean, I want to touch it, but
Yeah, it's fluffy.
but that like scene where it's like creeping down the hallway,
Yeah.
whoa, looked like that because it was half wolf, and it was like half wolf in behavior. So the guy who plays his trainer, Knowles, is that Knowles?
That sounds
I
right.
don't know.
No,
We're bad at
he
names.
said, make sure you pay attention to Cooper? No, not Cooper.
Sure. I
Copper.
don't know.
Not Copper.
I don't know.
George. Clark. His name was Clark.
That actor was up for a different role in the movie,
Oh.
but he was like, no, I want to hang out with the dogs. And so,
Fuck yeah.
yeah. And so the handler for the dog's name was Jeb. I don't remember the name of the handler.
You don't need to. The dog is the
Can't
only thing that's
remember
important.
Clark. I don't know the actor in the movie, but I know the
dog.
real life name of
And
this
you're like,
dog.
hold on, let me name every dog that was in the movie.
Yeah.
We got Snowflake. We got Killer. I don't know names of dogs.
Those were good though. I liked those. Yeah, so the actor who played the handler, Clark, had to like spend a lot of time essentially in rehearsals with the dog and the handler to get the dog like comfortable around him.
Yeah.
They had to teach the whole cast, like, if the dog starts making this face or changes his posture like this, then he's in wolf mode. So you have to like be very calm and like relax.
That's a good way to calm you down, is thinking that your dog is about to go into predator
Yeah,
mode.
this
You're like,
wolf is
oh,
about to
now
eat
I have
you."
to just calm down,
Oh God.
not be freaked out.
And they even usually filmed on like a closed set. So they would clear the set except for like Clark and the dog or whoever had to be in the scene. And so that scene where he like walks through the like mess hall where the guys are like hanging out playing cards or whatever was a very tense day. It was like, okay, this wolf is going to crawl between your legs and you just, and then you have to yell at it, and then you have to yell at it. So,
No, that would be terrifying.
oh, and the dog monster, the dog thing
Yeah.
was created by not Rob Bottin. That was a different special effects company.
Oh, they did an okay job.
Yeah, I think that they did
The
great.
tongue on
And
that
they,
one? Gross.
oh, so gross.
The little
so
things
foul.
that come out that are like,
Ugh.
The spaghetti things? Yeah,
the
that's pretty
spaghetti
gross.
things. I was like, the faculty latched onto that. Like, that is faculty imagery. And same with the head crawling away. I was like, oh, man. Like, I knew that there were Easter eggs in the faculty that I didn't recognize just because of the ones that I did.
Yeah.
Right? Like, there must be more here. So it was fun. It was fun to spot them in this, and I'm looking forward to spotting more in Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
oh, yeah. Oh, I'm excited about that one.
Okay, I have a question.
Yeah.
Are you attracted to Kurt Russell?
Yes. Wait, no. Yes. No. Yeah.
Okay, will you take me on the ride that you just went on?
Okay. It was an immediate yes, as you heard. But then I remembered that John Carpenter and Kurt Russell were friends, and that is also why he got the role. But he says, like, John Carpenter's a leftist, and he is an unlikely pairing with Kurt Russell because he is very far right.
Kurt Russell's far right?
Yeah, so that was my no. And then I was like, what if John Carpenter's friends with him? So that's when you heard me go through that in my head.
Yeah, okay.
And then I was like, I'd be lying if I said no. Like, that would be a lie. So, and his character in the film, yes. Yeah, for sure. In general, no, absolutely no.
I think that's where I was going because I know that he's considered like a dreamboat culturally. I know that it's like women of a certain age.
Overboard. I was not attracted to him in Overboard.
No, nor was I. Mm-mm.
But I definitely, in this movie, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. My note is, oh, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it now.
Not the other ones.
I don't know what it is.
I don't know either. Giant beard.
Giant beard. Piercing blue eyes.
Suspicious of everyone.
Love him paranoid.
Pissed off at computers. Yeah.
Oh my God. When he throws the whiskey into the computer, I was like, #relatable. Oh my God. Get him. Get him. But that's also like, man, that's a real risky move. If you're out in the Arctic and your hobby is playing chess against the computer, destroying it.
Yeah, it's not going to be great.
Is risky.
Then what do? Go talk to your coworkers?
He's not going to go talk to his coworkers.
No, thank you. He has a shack separate from everyone else.
Yeah.
Wait, where did everybody else sleep? They never really addressed that.
No.
Are
we
there
see their
coffins?
bunks.
Oh, okay.
No, there's a scene where the punk and the rollerblader share a room, and they
smoke some weed.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, and he's watching an old tape of something. Whenever he was watching it, I was like, oh, you guys get broadcasts in here. That's pretty nice. And then it was a tape, and I was like, whoa, that sucks.
Apparently the crew, the cast learned that that's like legitimately how researchers in the Arctic receive stuff. They have like shipments of recordings of the Super Bowl or whatever.
Oh, wow.
And then the cast was like, they wanted to embody that. And so they were legitimately having things like shipped in when they were in Canada.
Wow.
Yeah. Huh. Oh my God. And speaking of our cursed recording, they had a weird experience getting out to Canada that felt very cursed. Like, I think I would have turned around. So they had to fly out, into British Columbia. So probably Vancouver. I don't know. I'm just guessing. And I forget the town. Town is generous. The mountain that they filmed on was very remote, and they had to take a shuttle from the airport to the mountain, and a storm came in, and on their drive out there, the bus driver is like sliding, and they thought that they were going to like careen off the side of a mountain, and they're driving up and up and up and up, and it's dark. This is the middle of the night. It's like 2 or 3 in the morning, and like all of the actors are wide awake, terrified, except for one of them who had food poisoning, so he was sleeping it off in the back. And as they're driving up, they get to a point, they see a hotel, and they're like, let's pull over. And they weren't even going to stay at the hotel. They were like, we're going to make a call because we're like hours behind, and like the people on like already on set don't know that we're safe. Yeah. So like, let's pull over, make a call. But to get up there, the bus had to take a very sharp turn and go sharply up an incline. And as they go to take the turn, they like slide off the road, and the bus gets stuck. And so all of these actors had to climb out and like push the bus up. Oh my God. And when they get up there, the hotel is closed. There's nobody there.
Oh my God.
They just had to turn around, go back down. They made it fine, but not until dawn. And John Carpenter comes out and he's like cheery and chipper. He's like, "Hey, so glad you guys made it." They're like, we almost died.
Oh my God, that's terrifying.
Isn't that so scary?
Yeah, I would have quit the movie.
So scary.
I would have been like, this is not for me. I'm sorry, guys.
Like, can we just wait?
I never
Let's
want to
just
take
wait.
this drive again. I know that we have shot most of the movie. I think you guys are going to have to reshoot it. I'm sorry. Peace out. Bye, y'all. Oh, God. That's a nightmare.
That's a nightmare.
Yeah.
That's a literal nightmare. Mm-hmm. What's the most striking scene in the movie to you?
Honestly, this is not going to sound like one of the ones that make sense.
Okay.
But it is the part whenever the redheaded guy changes and then his hands are just like that, and then he looks at them and he just makes a loud...
And he just makes that noise.
And I was like, no! No!
That was so stressful. Oh my God. And I'm glad that you brought that up because I have an important question for you. Would you still love me if my hands were the thing?
Of course.
Oh, thank you.
They were just like very large and
Just like, and
like almost
wiggly.
like lobster hands.
Yeah. Oh,
of
thank
course.
you.
If you just made that noise, I would shoot you though.
I think that's the right opinion.
There's one other striking part, and I feel like it's where he goes to the McCready and not McCready, other guy who I can't remember who the other one, the scientist, not the doctor.
Yeah, I know.
And the guy in the chair. Yeah, that was.
Oh, the guy in the chair.
Yeah, that one was intense.
Sorry, listeners. I don't know how better to describe that. He's like gooey.
Gooey?
Is that an appropriate description? We're talking about him being assimilated, right? Or a different guy in the chair?
I'm talking about the... Oh, God. Now I'm just going to keep talking about different parts. I'm talking about the frozen guy who had his wrist slit and the blood had frozen.
Oh, fuck.
That was a very striking scene.
That was so striking. And that made me think of, like, Event Horizon for sure cribbed that shot.
Oh.
Only that was like fucked up eyes on the other side instead of, yeah. Yeah. So that's, gosh, we are not like describing the plot of this movie at all. We're just like remembering parts.
The plot is there is this thing that can become a replica. It will consume you and become a replica of you.
Right.
And that's it. That's the plot. And then everyone's suspicious of each other. And then that's it. So it's not like the striking images are what make the movie. The plot is just more of a, I don't know who to trust.
The vibes on this are immaculate.
Yeah.
Like when it first starts, I was like, I am already like totally submerged in the tone of this movie. Like it grabbed me straight away. And it's not like, I don't know, it's just like dudes riffing, right? They're just like teasing each other basically. And I was like, I'm in it. Immaculate vibes. And that scene that you're describing is when they go to the Norwegians base and discover that it's been burned and everybody there is dead. And there's this weird multi-faced something out front. Do you take that back with you?
No, of course not. But it was the find of the century.
It was.
I don't know. Like if you assume that it's actually dead.
Yeah.
And not living at all. No, I still wouldn't. I have seen the thing. I wouldn't do it. I feel like that's the reference I would have made during the time. I would be like, I've seen the thing. Can't do it.
No, we can't do this. Honestly, we shouldn't let that dog in.
Yeah. That dog didn't look... If he was the dog handler, do you think he would notice that one of the dogs doesn't look like his dog?
Like the fundamental question of this movie is like...
Does he actually know his dogs?
Does anybody know anyone?
Oh. Well, he ended up being okay. Like, that was the sad part, is the dog handler was not
I know, he wasn't
thing.
thinged. He was just a weird guy.
He was a very weird guy.
Yeah,
so
he was
that's
just
fair.
weird.
I was going to say the other striking scene was like at the end whenever Wilford Brimley grabbed somebody's face. And then the face becomes the fingers become the face, and then they become one.
And then he like drags him by the face.
Yeah, it is gross.
Oh,
It's so
no.
gross. It's so good.
It's so
gross
good.
and so good.
So gross. But that was the faculty did that too with the slugs in the face. Like they were going for the
did.
same vibe. Yeah.
This was much grosser though. This was like, I'm glad that we watched this after the faculty because I feel like I do love the faculty and it wouldn't have taken away from it because of my memories from it. But this one definitely tops that. Like this series has been great.
It would be crazy if we came out of this like
Faculty's the best
superior movie.
Everyone would stop listening to our podcast.
Like, what the fuck?
What kind of opinion is that?
That is a bad take.
Yeah, I feel like I could talk about this movie for a long time. I could talk about each scene when, like, obviously the scene where he, like, gives the CPR and then his hands go in, loses his arms, and that's the end. And then it just turns into, like, a crazy scene and the head falls off.
That
so good.
scene just, like, takes off. It keeps going.
Yeah, it doesn't end. And then the head walks off and then the turning and being like, what the fuck? Is that what he says?
You gotta be fucking kidding.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so they talked about the making of that scene in the behind the scenes.
Oh.
And it's wild. So they made like a perfect replica of that actor's chest, the one who has the heart attack. And to the point that they had him come in and they took pictures of his chest because Rob Bottin insisted on like getting the hair pattern right
Of course
on the
he
replica.
did.
I know.
I love a perfectionist. I love it.
Same. And that actor was like, they got it. They got it. That's me. And he was friends with one of the other actors. I think the guy whose arms get got from before this
Other
movie.
movies.
Yeah. And so when they were staging that scene, the guy with the replica torso, see, bad at names. Torso's like on the table and this guy's like in a harness beneath the table, but his head's above the table so that he can, act in the scene. And his friend comes in and is like teasing him. He's like, put a shirt on this guy. This is disgusting. He comes over and he's like, wait. Like, what the fuck? And then, okay, this part is crazy. The arm scene. That's still not CG. They found somebody who had been in an accident and lost his arms at that point. Wait, it gets crazier.
What?
And so they made, like, for the actual scene where it, like, Venus flytraps his arms, they made, those arms were made of gelatin with, like, tubes inside for the blood, like veins. And they set that shot up with the arms. It closes on them. They freeze. They swap in the actor or the man who was in the accident.
Yeah.
And then like resume the shot, and he starts flailing his arms around. But here's the crazy part: they didn't like swap back in the original actor to like see his face. They made a replica of his face that this guy with the arms wore over his face.
Oh, that's perfect.
That weird.
I'm gonna have to go rewatch that scene.
Oh, isn't that crazy?
And just stare very closely.
And that also was sort of cursed. So they set that shot up, and the way they had the head like stretch away from the body, I guess that took a lot of experimentation, figuring out
that makes sense.
How do we make that look good? And it was a lot of like melting of plastic. And so this is like a one shot thing. Like you get it, you have no choice but to get it. And so they're setting up. It took 12 hours to set up this scene.
Oh my God.
And they do the arms and actually I think that messed up too. And they had to reshoot it, but the head definitely messed up. And they were just having to like keep this melted plastic melted, and it's like giving off fumes and paint thinner smells.
Oh.
And during the scene, like in the plot of the movie, there are so the way that they combat the thing is with fire typically. And so there is fire supposed to be in the scene. And so they're about to roll on the shot, and John Carpenter is like, wait, where are the flames? And Rob Bottin is like, the what? And John Carpenter is like, we need flames for this scene. So they got the pyro guy in, and he set up like a tube of fire like you'd find in like a gas fireplace to be below the camera. And they light it, and the room fucking goes up in flames because of all of the fumes.
God.
And so, like, nobody was injured, but you can't use the shot. And so they had to, like, redo it the next day. And it, took hours and hours to set up again.
Wow. This makes sense that our episode was cursed. Like, it makes sense now. Like, the entire thing has been... The movie wasn't supposed to happen. Our recording wasn't supposed to happen. But somehow we're defying it. Might not be a big hit right when it comes out, but damn, 10 years from now, you guys are going to be listening to this, all million of you.
Yep. Hey, guys.
If we're still around.
Well, welcome.
Yeah.
knock on wood.
Wow.
The behind the scenes is really interesting.
I am not shocked. Everything I read about it, I was like, this movie has so many fun facts around it that I would not expect. And it's just really good. All around really good.
Even that spaceship at the very beginning was a miniature.
Oh.
The only woman I saw involved in the movie at all was a miniature artist. And so she made that spaceship, and she also made...
John Carpenter's ex-wife was a voice in it.
Yeah, she was the computer.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. Wasn't Gene Roddenberry's wife the voice of... the computer in Star Trek Next Generation, I think?
Oh. Women are computers?
I might be making that up.
I don't feel good about that.
Well, yeah, that's like the whole thing about like all of our voice assistants being women.
Because
Alexa,
they're calming.
Siri. Well, and it's like, get a woman to do your bidding. Anyway, this gal who made the miniatures was a weirdo, and I love that.
it.
Like,
we love a weirdo.
She's making all these miniatures. We love a weirdo. And that, like, that final encounter with the thing, who is that? Is that Blair at the end? The Blair thing? That, like, railroads under the ground when they're gonna blow it up.
It was McCready.
No.
Oh, that was the monster?
Yeah.
That was Claus? Ew, am I making up names?
Oh, God. I don't know any of the names. I don't know why I tried.
Who's Blair? I thought it was Dr. Cooper and Knowles.
Which one is Knowles?
The rollerblader.
No, it wasn't the rollerblader at the end. It was one of the... I don't know. It was the same guy who put the fingers in the other guy's face.
The fingers in the face was Dr. Cooper, right? He was the one who went crazy. No, Dr. Blair. There were two doctors.
See? I crushed it.
It was
Blair.
Dr. Blair. Dr. Blair was the hands into the face.
Yes. Yeah.
But then
so it's Blair thing.
He handed into the face for... Who was the person he handed his face
Cooper.
into? Okay, he did that to Cooper?
No, I'm not confident.
Copper. Dr. Copper. But Knowles was with them down there. Knowles was one of the ones that was taken. 3 of them were down there.
Yeah.
3 of them were down there.
That's right.
And it was Gary. It was Gary.
It was Gary.
It was Gary. So it was Gary. The doctor shoved his hand on Gary, but then Knowles also got taken at the same time.
Knowles gets taken.
All 3 of them are taken at the same time, and they become the giant thing that goes under the thing.
Okay, so that's where I was going. We got there.
We got it.
So they filmed that in stop motion at some point.
Jeez.
That got ripped from the movie. That's not what's in the film.
Oh, okay.
And they hired like a really talented stop motion artist, and the gal who made the miniature spaceship also made a 2-scale set of that that like shack that they were going to blow up. And she was talking about how hard that is because it's not like right angles. It's like a cave. And so it was so hard to like get it right so that it looked seamless.
Oh, good point.
But Carpenter didn't like how the stop motion looked. He felt that it took you out of the movie. And they showed a scene and he was right. I think that if you're like stop motion is really cool, but it's hard to like inject it into an otherwise not stop motion movie.
Yeah, that's fair.
And
that's
be
fair.
convincing. So, yeah, I think that was the right move. But can you imagine like working so hard to build this huge 2-scale set for stop motion and then they just get rid of it?
There's like, this isn't going to be in the movie at all.
Yeah, that stinks. I'm glad that it made it into the behind the scenes.
But I also am like, God, I would love to just make a miniature for not just my hobby. I might, honestly, but I don't know where the time would come from. That's the problem. I just don't have the time. Too many podcasts.
Too many podcasts.
I'll do it at the same time. We'll record and I'll just be making my miniature while we're...
Honestly, I love that. I love that idea.
And then we'll start. That will be our TikToks. It'll be the little me making a miniature while going through the horror movie.
I love this. You can make like
of the horror movie we're talking about.
Oh my god! Wait, we already invented this. Yeah, this is our always show the monster traveling show.
Oh yeah,
I'll get into it too.
Perfect.
Okay, so I don't want to talk too much about the book because this is a really faithful adaptation.
What strays?
There's one thing that's missing in the movie, and I see why they removed it because it wouldn't make impossible.
Are there like 15 characters? There's a ton of characters in that.
There's like book. 40 characters in the book.
That's what I heard. I was like, that's too many characters. I'm glad that they made it less because we already have a hard enough time. There were 2 doctors, guys.
Yeah. Yeah, there were way too many. And the only one that I remember, I only remember him because he was calling everybody bird. What's this bird up to? And I was like, oh, maybe I'll do that. But the thing that's present in the book that I thought was really interesting is that there was like a psychic component to it.
Oh.
So one of the characters, in fact, dreams that it's a shapeshifter before we even learn that there's like a monster afoot. So he just had like they find the original corpse, I guess. And that night dreams that it's a shapeshifter. And then we start learning that. And
I guess that's the way to do the science before we had the science. And they replace them with, I'm looking at these 2 blood cells and they are changing into the same blood cell.
Oh, yeah. That was another weird thing about this. So the book was written in 1938. And there were 2 things that it mentioned that I had to look up after because I was like,
the fuck is that?
Does the timeline on this work? And one of them, I think, was just a mistake.
Okay.
I think that the author didn't know this. He was talking about how so in the book, even after they realized that this is essentially a virus that transmits, they were like, it can only go animal to animal. Viruses can't go animal to human. And I was like, okay, 2 things. 1, this is an alien virus. How do you know? That could be different. 2, we know that it can. That's why we're scared of dogs with rabies and have been for a long time.
I actually listened to a podcast on mad cow disease, and for a long time people didn't think mad cow was going to be a problem because it doesn't transmit until it transmitted to a cat. And then everyone freaked out and they were like, the fuck, it's going across species. What do we do? And then 8 years later, a lot of people had mad cow. It was very sad.
Yeah. I also read that like old school dairy farmers knew that it transmitted. And then as we changed production and we were able to like ship milk further, it was harder to draw, like people were drinking milk and being infected. But you couldn't draw that line back unless you knew what you were looking for. And so like the dairy farmers were like, yeah, you can absolutely get sick. And everybody was like, farmer thinks he's a scientist.
No.
And then the other thing that they mentioned was they were talking about how nuclear power hadn't been figured out yet. It was still like
wow.
And so I looked it up, and we discovered nuclear fission the same year that this book came out, but not until December.
Wow.
So, I mean, the Manhattan Project was going on, so I'm sure that like
the idea of it was there.
Played into it. Yeah. But that was interesting. I was like, oh my God, history.
Yeah.
This is a weird, like, transitional time for this book to come out. And I think that that's part of it, right? Like, 38, things are not great globally. And so, yeah, that's a huge motivation, I think, in writing a book that's about paranoia and not trusting other capital O.
Whenever we're talking about that, can we talk about like what we just went through, a huge pandemic of not being able to trust people, and like you have your own pod of people that you think you trust, but if they go hang out with somebody else, they could be an alien. I don't know. I just saw a lot of parallels between the last couple of years and this movie, and I feel like this movie should have a huge resurgence because of it. That's what we just went through. Like, you couldn't, because some people were asymptomatic, so you just like stared at them and you're like, are you gonna kill me? Is this gonna be the end of me?
Is this?
We're breathing the same air. Am I gonna
big
be
risk
turned into a thing?
Am I gonna be thing? Don't thingify me.
Yeah. And I just like,
would you still love me if my hands were COVID?
No.
That's fair.
I would love you if they were weird lobster hands and they were not the thing.
Yeah.
But if it's just your
how
hands,
about this?
Are you gonna like touch me with the hands? Sorry.
Well, that's where I was going. Like, what if will you please still love me if my hands are COVID if I quarantine?
Okay.
Thank you.
That's fair. Your hands have to test negative.
My hands have to test negative for sure. Yeah.
But that, and the philosophical question I had was, when you become the thing and the thing inherits your memories, do you know you're the thing, or do you become that? Are you that? And then at some point your body just tears apart and you're actually an alien? Like, are you cognizant of the fact that you're a thing, or does it just hang out in your body and you not know? Am I a thing right now?
I don't know.
Should I go burn some blood?
I am of two minds about this. Oh no, that's too many minds.
Oh no. Put your blood on the thing and I want to see it on fire.
You know what? That was another thing. They were like cutting themselves with that scalpel and just wiping it off on their jeans.
I was like,
let's
you
get
just
some
gave
rubbing
it to
alcohol.
everybody. Yeah. If you didn't have it, you have it now. You have it now.
So I think that Palmer knew that he was thinged because he like
blamed a lot of people.
No, though he did. he was yelling a lot. But right before they're about to test his blood, it cuts to his face, and he like, it's almost like he shrugged. He's like, time's up. He makes this smirk isn't right, but his facial expression changes in a way that was like, here we go. And then, well, I don't know. Why else would he like start transforming in front of them?
Yeah, I don't know.
If it was just the sample. But then the guy who has the heart attack, in the behind the scenes, he was saying that he thought his character suspected that he was infected. And that's why when they like nominated him to be leader of the group, he was like, I don't think I can handle it. Oh. He was like, I think like the way that actor portrayed it was that like he didn't know capital K, but that he like knew something was wrong. Yeah.
And because that was like the response of some of the actors too, or like whenever their blood was getting checked, they were like,
yeah, they were nervous. I know I would be.
There was a thing that I read about, and I don't know if it was in the behind the scenes, but John Carpenter, like they had a rehearsal And all of the actors kept talking about the philosophy of it. And they're like, am I? Is there a chance that I am and I don't know? And that's just who I am. And he was like, God, I'm never fucking doing this again. No rehearsals ever again. So he was like, I can't deal with you guys and doing this. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah. That's funny. I did read that them making time for rehearsals was atypical. Like most movies don't do that. And also that the actors, because they were out like essentially camping together for however many weeks, they like really bonded, and they were like making decisions about how their characters would what's the word for when you
interact?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
How they would. God damn, I've been locked in my house
It's
for
one of
3
those.
years. I've forgotten.
And that's the amount of time we've tried to record this podcast. So that's completely fair. That's completely fair.
Yeah, so they were like making decisions about how their characters would interact, and John Carpenter didn't always agree with that, but they were like, well, we're doing it. So they were like, yeah, he definitely felt like we took some control away from him.
There was a thing about everyone, the actor who played Windows came in one day and was like, I want to be called Windows. And everyone was like, okay, fuck, fine. Like, that's not his character's name, but he came in one day and he was like, this is what I'm feeling for my character. And everyone just thought it was a bunch of bullshit, that he thought so highly of his like acting and like who he was embodying, that he was like, this is who I am.
Wait. He wanted to be called Windows in real life?
Just in his character.
Okay,
so his character wasn't originally named Windows.
Right, yeah.
And then he was like, I think I should be called Windows.
It was because of his dark shades. He was always wearing sunglasses.
Oh, yeah, and his face getting eaten by the thing. That was pretty good, too. This is a lot of great scenes. This movie, I would say, out of all the movies we've seen, the amount of scenes that I think are memorable and good,
Yeah. Yeah.
it like blows everything else out of the water.
One of my questions in my notes to ask you was, like, what were the most notable deaths? And then my notes, I was just enumerating every death. So I cut myself off. It's all of them.
And the saddest one was the guy with the glasses who burned himself. The scientist.
Yeah.
Loved him. That broke my heart so hard.
I know.
So hard. Every death in that was so extreme to a point where, and I was like, I didn't even think I was attached to these characters, but holy shit. I am so attached to every one of them.
I can't tell them apart, but
Could
like
not tell you their
group,
names.
I'm very attached.
But like, just the idea of even at the end of it, McCready and Childs just sitting there, you're like, I mean, either of them could be.
I know who it was. In my heart, I know who it was.
Is it Childs?
Yeah, obviously it was Childs.
Oh.
Would you like to hear my theory?
Yeah, please.
Okay. So, it goes back to the whiskey in the computer.
Oh my God.
So, early in the movie, we sort of establish like vices for everybody. McCready's a drinker. And this isn't in the movie, but the backstory that Kurt Russell and John Carpenter came up with for him is that he is a Vietnam War vet. Yeah, with hella PTSD. So, and this isn't going to help that.
For sure.
Or maybe it'll cure it. Maybe if you like double up, you can. Do they cancel each other out? No. Okay. No. That sounds not how
extreme. Scientists, write in. Let us know.
Yeah. So a bunch of them have their vices, and we see the whiskey recur throughout the movie. And we also decide like nobody should eat or drink anything that's been handled by somebody else. And in that last scene, McCready takes a swig of the whiskey that he's been drinking and hands it to Childs, who drinks it without reservation. So if Childs is human, he should be suspicious of McCready, and instead he just takes a swig of this whiskey. And instead he should be like, stop trying to thing me.
That's an interesting theory. I saw the end as, because like the way McCready talked to him, he was like, well, if we are, we are. If we're not, we're not. This is where we're at. This is the end of it. This is the end.
Yeah.
But the main goal was to not have it progress. So that's a good theory.
That's the other thing that was different in the book.
Oh.
So the book leaves it on a question too. Is this going to
Carry on.
carry on? Because they talk about how it's like bird season. I don't know. Birds are coming back or leaving. One of the two. I forget.
Birds are birding.
And birds are birding. And at the end of the movie, when we've gotten to this point, at the end of the book, when we've gotten to the point at the end of the movie, we see a bird flying away. And, but the point of that you need to know is that when they found Blair in the book, he wasn't building like a full-on spaceship. He was essentially building like a rocket pack. And so he was going to like zoom out of here. And so when they see that bird off in the distance flying away, they're like,
fuck.
Do you think that that's another of them? And they're like, no, it's a bird. It's a bird.
It's a bird.
So
it's got to be a bird. It's a bird.
And they're like, we're for sure dying in Antarctica. They're like,
we didn't even
comforting themselves.
Oh my God.
Well, but they have to like lie to themselves. Like, that's a bird.
It's got to be a bird. This wasn't for nothing.
We stopped it. That's a bird. Oh, you know the other thing Rob Bottin worked on? Mimic.
Oh.
Yeah.
Rob Bottin. Why?
Yeah.
I mean, the practical effects were pretty good. We've talked about how we liked the practical effects in that movie.
Yeah.
We just did not like the CGI.
The CGI.
We were like, if they had just done practical the entire time, it would have been a better movie. There's something I was going to say. Oh, so in the prequel, fast forward if you don't want spoilers again, their test was to check to see if you had fillings because they couldn't reproduce in organic matter.
Oh.
So if you didn't have fillings, then that means that they fell out when it was becoming you. So that's kind of how they checked in that movie. And then at the end, I'm going to spoil the ending, unless you want to watch the movie.
No, tell me.
Okay, and then at the end, it has Ramona Flowers and Joel Edgerton. And Joel, they're the last two that survive. And Ramona Flowers, they go into the spaceship and then they fight the thing in the spaceship. It's very weird.
Dope.
And then they come back out to survive. And then they're leaving. And then Mary Elizabeth Winstead, Ramona Flowers, is like, I'm going to go put away my flame pack in the back. And then she comes back up and she's like, hey, do you know how I knew it was you when you came back to camp? Do you know how I knew you were human? And he was like, no. And she was like, your earring. And then he did this. And she was like, it's your other ear. And then she lit him on fire. And I was like, anyway, I watched that when I was home alone and I was so scared.
Oh, no.
Don't be in a house in the middle of the woods and watch horror movies home alone. Or do. It really amplifies it. It amplifies it for sure. And I was like, what is that noise? Fucking squirrel.
Also, I frequently forget which side I have my like conch piercing in. So she might have just killed a guy. Great movie. Great film.
10 out of 10 would recommend. I did purchase it. And this is one that I was very happy that I purchased. I am definitely going to watch it multiple times.
Yep, you already have.
Yeah. And I'll watch it like 2 or 3 more in like the next year. Like it's not even one that I want to wait to watch again. Like after you described how that entire scene happened, I have to go watch it like tomorrow.
Okay.
Damn.
Do we have any more thoughts on the thing? I mean, I know that we do.
Yeah. But tonight, do we have any more thoughts? Just that everyone should watch it. It's super good. It is somebody that I trust and respect's opinion's favorite movie, and I understand completely why. Shout out to Rachel.
It's also one of our listeners' favorite scary movie.
Is it?
Yep.
Oh, I'm so excited we did
Or maybe
it.
she said top 3.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to put words in your mouth.
Should we also shout out Tessa?
Shout out Tessa. Shout out Tessa.
We're just shouting out a lot of people.
I can't believe that neither of us had seen this.
Yeah.
I just assumed I had. I guess that's my final closing thought. Loved this. Will watch it again. Might watch it again
Like
right now.
this week. Yeah. Yeah. Immediately after we hang up, I'm going to go watch that scene.
Yep.
Stare at the mask face.
Yeah, it does look like once you know it looks weird. And when it's first happening, you're like, yeah, he's screaming. He just lost his arms.
Yeah.
I'd be very.
My face would be looking like that too.
It would be a rictus of pain. So, so it worked. They did great. And next week we're gonna. Oh no, sorry,
not Invasion.
Not next week.
Oh,
Fortnite. Next fortnight.
Mm-hmm. Thank you guys for being patient with us on the fortnightly.
Every 14 days, babies. And in 14 days, I guess depending on when you're going to listen to this. Okay. We'll be covering Invasion of the Body Snatchers, continuing our possession by aliens theme. And that one is, more of this, basically.
I mean, so far it's been like out of the park with these movies. Like, I thought cryptids were going to be our tops. And still, that was a great series. This is like rivaling it. I am just shocked at the roll we've been on, and I could not be happy.
Knock on wood.
It's only up. It's only up.
Only up.
Oh, shit. Is this where it goes way down? Did we just get another slap face? Sorry.
Oh, God.
Sorry, slap face. I'm sorry.
Okay. In 2 weeks, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, more aliens, more possession by aliens in some definitions of the word possession.
Yeah, this one wasn't super possession-y. It was recreation-y.
Yeah.
It depends on who, like, do you consider yourself as another, like, it's your thoughts, what, like, that's where it would get.
Your memories.
Okay, next time when we shoot the shit, we will go into,
yeah.
we will go into what is life, what is existing, what is being sentient.
Tedious, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, fair.
I have already read the book, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and so my expectation is sexism. Can't wait.
And we are watching the Donald Sutherland one, the 70s. Is
Yes.
it 70s? Mm-hmm. Okay.
70s, but the book is even earlier.
Okay.
50s maybe.
Okay, hopefully. Maybe they righted some wrongs, lefted some rights. I don't know. We'll find out.
We'll find out. 70s, I'm not terribly optimistic. Yeah. We'll find out. And in the meantime, please rate and review the show if you can, wherever you get your podcasts. And you can find us on all of the social medias at No Show Monster. We're not terribly active, but you can find us. And you can email us, noshowmonster@gmail.com. And we love you. Would you still love us if our hands were thing claws?
Yeah.
Right in. Happy spookies.
Happy spooky. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to make you edit this out. Is John Carpenter spelled with an H?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Assuming you mean the H in John, not like John Carpenter.